Hey, welcome. Today, in preparation for our video on estimating, we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the tools that we'll need in order to put together a good estimate. Okay, if you've been here before, welcome back. And if this is your first time here, this is a channel I put together to help young foremen and journeymen who want to be foremen to become good foremen. And I'm a little hit and miss on my videos. I'm sorry about that, but I do work for a living just like you do. And sometimes that kind of interrupts my life, if you know what I mean. But if you'll go right straight down to the description down here, there's a link you can click on. Follow that link to my website, and you can sign up for a free Foreman Training course. It's going to teach you everything you need to know in order to be a good foreman, in my opinion. At the end of that course, you'll be offered an opportunity to take my Advanced Foreman Training course, where we'll take all the skills that you learned in the first training and actually put them into use on a mock-up project. I'm going to give you access to the same software that I use to manage my projects. And we're going to import the estimate in. We're going to write a master schedule. We're going to put in all of our action items. We're going to write 2-week rolling schedules. We're going to do forecasting. We're going to track our equipment. We're going to track our material. Just everything that you learned in the first training, we're going to put to use in a mock-up project, walk you through the whole thing, and then I'm just going to send you out to the field with the software and let you manage your own project. So even though I'm not real consistent on producing these videos, I have put together a complete series of training that's going to get you where you need to be the best foreman in your field. And these other videos that I'm putting out, I'm trying to assemble those into a series. So right now we're in the middle of an estimating series. And if you go into my playlist, you can select the playlist on estimating and follow that from A to Z, beginning to end. And as time goes on, I'll keep adding to those, so it'll just be supplemental training in addition to the other free training that I'm offering below. Okay, let's get into this thing. Let's start off with highlighters. The first thing you should do before compiling any type of estimate is to read the entire set of drawings. And if there's a spec book, you need to read the electrical specifications as well. As you read these documents, you need to highlight any specifications or requirements that are outside or in addition to the code. Things like minimum size of conduit, shading requirements for underground trenches, or wire size for branch circuits over 80 feet, for example. I like to highlight these things so I can refer back to them as I compile my takeoff. I generally use orange for this kind of a warning to meet the requirements. I also highlight any material requirements that are noteworthy, like flexible conduit can only be used for equipment connections under 6 feet in length, for example. I use green highlighter for material notes to differentiate them from installation guidelines. You just never know what standards the engineer is going to require on different projects, so make sure you highlight unusual items so you can remember them and quickly find them as you work your way through the drawings. As you count things like devices or light fixtures, you need to mark them off. You can use a highlighter for this, but I like to use a red colored pencil so I don't confuse them with notes and details I've highlighted. I also use a red pencil to check off every note that was highlighted in the review process as I work my way through the takeoff so that I know I addressed them. When I complete a takeoff on a sheet in the drawings, I check off the sheet number to let myself know that that sheet is complete. You might be waiting on clarification or quotes to come in on specialty material and have several pages sitting incomplete. So it's a good idea to put a sticky note on these sheets and list the reason why they are not checked off so you can quickly remember to follow up on those items. It's a good idea to have a little handheld pencil sharpener for your red pencil. The one I selected down in the description section below this video has a 30-degree sharpening pitch for colored pencils. Since they typically have softer lead, a 30-degree pitch will help keep the point from breaking so easily. Architect and engineer scales are handy for scaling drawings on the quick. They are 6-sided, so they include a wide range of scales. I use these mostly in my office on site. Engineers use different scales than architects, so it's handy to have both if your drawings include any site work. A digital plan scale is a must-have for estimating. It also comes in handy on the job site, so you'll want to include it in your briefcase. Unless you have estimating software with on-screen takeoff, this is how we will measure conduit runs and wire. On-screen takeoff is nice, but it's pricey, and if you have to provide your own software to get a properly formatted estimate, you probably won't want to spend the money. I'm old school, so I like this method. You can buy these for about $40 at Home Depot and Lowe's. Tally counters are nice for counting light fixtures and devices. On larger projects, it'll keep you from losing count. The digital scale does have a counter as well, so you can use that if you want, but I've always used one of these. Another aspect of estimating is value engineering the drawings. For example, if you can combine the circuits from 2 conduits on the drawings into one conduit, you just saved yourself from having to run one entire conduit. That not only saves on material costs, but labor costs as well. Triangles just create a straight edge for you to draw in your value engineered revisions to the drawings to prepare for the takeoff. The triangles I selected include a template for curved lines as well as a protractor. More bang for your buck. We'll cover value engineering in more depth coming up soon, but this is where your knowledge of the code will come in handy. Templates can be handy if you need to do any design work. Typically, this has come into play for me on residential, small commercial, and remodel projects where the customer changes their mind and doesn't want to engage the engineer or architect. It provides a template for electrical symbols like receptacles, switches, and light fixtures. And it also includes templates for countertops, door swings, sinks, toilets, and more. Basically, mechanical pencils are for hand drafting, so they have different weights and hardnesses of lead. That's kind of a lost art now, but I still find myself sketching up some type of drawing occasionally in order to communicate effectively with an engineer or architect. When I was a young man in California, I had an auto parts client that would shop around for empty buildings to convert into stores. When they found one, they would ask me for budget electrical numbers to convert it into a store or distribution center. If they bought the building, they would give me the project as long as I didn't exceed my budget. Then I would engineer the drawings by hand, stamp them, and submit them for permit. At the time in California, as an electrical contractor, I could engineer drawings for any building under 3 stories. I've done a lot of that over the years in different states. It's always nice to have a set of mechanical pencils to mark up drawings, and having one in your shirt pocket on the job site will get you some street cred if you encounter an architect or engineer. This is a nice little pocket architectural scale. It has 1/4 inch per foot on one side of the tape, and then it has 1/8 inch on the other. So if you're doing smaller projects or projects that are only scaled in 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch, it's nice to have in your pocket on the job site in case you have to answer questions on the fly and take measurements. Now, if you're working on larger projects and you have more scales to deal with, there's a second option, which is here. This includes a way wider range of scales to work with, so they're both nice to have depending on the type of project that you're working on. Okay, now I've put links to all of these tools down in the description in case you're interested in putting together a set. I will tell you that I signed up with Amazon for an affiliates account, so if you buy through that link down there, they are going to pay me a little bit of money. It's not going to cost you anything more, but it's just a way for me to try and get some kind of compensation for all the time I spend putting these videos together without having to charge you guys anything. So trying to keep things as free as I can. I want to thank you for watching the video. If you haven't done it already, please subscribe. Do me a favor, click the like, leave a comment if you can, share the video with your friends. The wider distribution I can get, the more people I can help out, and I'm interested in doing that. So I appreciate your help. Thank you for showing up, and I'll see you in the next video.